So what, other than the funding or, like you said, the lack of just being present in the community, what is the biggest contrast between you and her? Because I will just say, after watching the Indivisible YouTube town hall, many of your questions were pretty much on par with one another. There wasn't a huge contrast that I noticed, and that's why I have a couple more questions lined up for you. But what would you say is the biggest contrast between you and her?
Right. And so I think when you're talking about a Democratic primary, keeping in mind that in that 2-minute span, a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about, that vision is going to be very similar. And the difference between the two of us comes into that whole idea of where is the nuance and where is the rest of the policy understanding coming from. And so when you look at, and again, that's why we focused a lot on the long form conversations to be able to go more in depth on some of these things, right? There's multiple different ways that you can approach universal health care. So how do you actually intend to do that, and what are you looking at to be a practical exercise to be able to get us to that point where someone's financial situation isn't actually going to define their healthcare decisions? And so for me, that's exactly what I represent, right? I've advocated for policies not based on what's happening with special interest groups. I'm advocating for programs are overly complicated, or they require too many hurdles, or they don't actually address the underlying issue. And that's the sort of experience that I'm bringing to the picture of saying, hey, listen, the people that are in Washington that are driving policy for the past 20, 30 years and beyond, they're not the ones that are actually out there living these experiences. They're not the ones that are engaging with our unhoused neighbors and talking to them about how they work their way into that situation. And so there's that sort of a very pragmatic, very practical, very on-the-ground experience that I think sets me apart, because those are the voices that have gone unheard for too long in Washington.